morning, my dear fangs. Welcome back to the Camera Secrets. Since I haven't done a countdown in forever, or at least that's what it feels like for me, I felt like sharing my top favorite witch and magic movies with all of you. Since it's still kind of magical month. I don't know. I know it's not October, but I don't care. I'm continuing it. I love Halloween too much. I just can't stop. So anyways, moving on. Without further ado, here are my top favorite witch and magic films. Number 10 is The Illusionist. I actually haven't seen this in a long time, unfortunately. I don't know if I own it. I might. But anyways, so from what I remember, it's about a magician who can do this amazing trick that has everyone stumped on how he did it. And this takes place in olden times. So back then, I think it was way more magical than today because we have more technology. So we can pretty much figure things out fairly easier than they could back then because they didn't have all that tech to pull off some of these stunts that they can today. So some people, especially those in power, became obsessive about this trick. They wanted to know how he did it. I believe they thought that they could... I know some people thought that they could feed millions of people or something like that with his trick. But it's just a trick, unfortunately. I believe his girlfriend, assistant, wife, whatever the heck she was, I don't remember what she was kidnapped, and he's trying to figure out a way to save her. I think that was the whole gist of the movie. Could be wrong. Number 9 is The Prestige. Not really surprising that this is on here. I'm a huge David Bowie fan, so anything that he's in tends to be on my lists. I love his music, and he was an incredible actor for the parts that he did play. He wasn't in many movies, but The Prestige, I thought, was incredible. It's about two, I think they're illusionists or magicians, one or the other, who are competing with one another, trying to outdo one another in their tricks. And one of them, I believe, seeks out Tesla to get assistance. If you haven't watched it, you should really check it out. And I'm not a huge Christian Bale fan, but that movie was impressive. Number 8 is The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. I don't know if any of you have actually seen this movie. I saw it randomly, and it became one of my favorites. It's Heath Ledger's last film, or one of his last films, one or the other, before he passed away. So it's even more magical, in my opinion. Johnny Depp does take over midway through the movie. I don't know if that's because Heath Ledger already passed. I have no idea why the sudden switch, but what the movie is about is this doctor is able to show people their dreams. They can actually go into their dreams, and it'll be blown up so they can actually walk through their dreams. It's pretty amazing how they did the dreamscapes. It's very magical and breathtaking. There are some cheesy points, I will admit, but I still liked the movie. Number 7 is The Wizard of Oz. Probably not really that surprising. Most people's would probably have this on their list. It may not have aged that well, but my grandmother loved this movie. And because of that, it has a special place in my heart for it. I still watch it every so often. I actually usually watch it around the holidays, if I can find it, but now I own it, so haha. I don't have to look for it. I don't have to look for it. Number 6 is The House with the Clock in its Walls. I actually love this movie. Jack Black is not one of my favorite comedians, but this one was really good. And some of his movies are really good, and some are just meh for me. Number 5 is Suspiria. Of course, there's going to be a horror movie on here. Of course. I love the dance sequence, I should say. I love my dreams so much. You know, I got it on my brain. The dance sequence was amazing, but I'm a huge dance fan. I love dance movies. I actually might do a countdown of one of those. Probably in the future. Probably going to happen next month. I'm just going to do a bunch of random countdowns next month. I already can see it in my future. But I thought it was really well done. It was creepy, it was disturbing, but there was this artistic sense to it that I really liked. Number 4 is The Witches of Eastwick, another one of my favorites. When I was a kid, the only scene that I could remember was the cherry pit one, and it made me so disgusted. I never wanted to watch it, and it still disgusts me to this day. But it's still a fun movie, and there is some whimsical and magical aspects to it. Number 3 is Practical Magic. My sister and I would actually dance around and sing along to that song. Put the lime in the coconut. And we actually said that when we got older, to the crone age, we were going to probably be those aunts. It would not surprise me. Not in the least. Number 2 is Hocus Pocus. Still one of my favorites. I actually watched the sequel, and it wasn't bad. I actually liked it. If you want to know my whole thought pattern about that movie, check out the card above me. Number 1 is Labyrinth. David Bowie's in it, so yeah. And it's been my favorite movie since I was 5. I've watched that movie over 100 times. I watch it when I'm sick, when I'm having a really bad day, or I'm just really depressed. I watch that movie. I heard they were going to make a sequel or something when he was alive, but unfortunately it just never came about, unfortunately. Then I heard they were remaking it, and I really hope they don't. I don't know how it's gonna be if they remake that classic. It's an incredible movie. Some people said it terrified them when they were kids. I didn't have that reaction at all. Yeah, there's some stuff I didn't notice until I was older. Like, the Hoggle statues that were peeing for the fountain. Yeah, that one I did not notice when I was older. Till I was older. Yeah. I would say The Craft would be, like, second, probably tied for second. But I have it as number 1, tied for Labyrinth, but I would honestly tie it for second. I love The Craft, don't get me wrong. It's a great movie. But Labyrinth is much better, in my opinion. Labyrinth's better than every magical movie for me. Anyways, so moving on. So honorable mentions, most of these are purely because of nostalgic reasons. They have not aged well. I will admit that to you. Teen Witch is one of them, and The Worst Witch. I actually have not been able to find The Worst Witch, the original. I know they remade it, but I don't want to watch the remake. I know it's bad. I watched them actually when I was a kid, though. Both of those, they were out around, I think, the 80s. So yeah, some 80s films have not aged well. I've noticed that. It's sad, but some of the things that we found entertaining back then, yeah, we don't find that entertaining anymore. And some things that we thought back then were cool aren't cool today. So some other of my favorites, though, may not be that surprising. The entire Harry Potter franchise. I adore those movies. They are incredibly magical and always leave me in awe at the amount of detail they put into those scenes within the school, specifically. Even the Fantastic Beasts. It's just an amazing franchise. I don't agree with J.K. Rowling's beliefs, but the movies are just breathtaking. I did read the books when I was young because they came out when I was young. But unfortunately, I was already getting to an age where they were aging out for me. And I just couldn't read them anymore. I would space out when I would read them. My peers would read them still, but I couldn't do it. I had to switch to adult books, and I was only 14 when I started reading Anne Rice. Yeah. I upgraded, I guess you could say. The other ones that are huge, huge favorite for me are Kiki's Delivery Service, Howl's Moving Castle, and Spirited Away. Hayao Miyazaki is incredible for a director. I've loved every single one of his movies that he's made. I haven't seen one I didn't like. Into the Woods was hilarious. It also had a great cast of actors and actresses. If you don't like musicals, probably stay away from it. I'm not a huge fan of musicals, but I do like a fair amount. Which might not be that surprising, or it is surprising, because I like horror movies and I like also musicals. It's probably weird. It's probably weird. I don't care. We are who we are. And I'm not sure if this counts or not, but Winter's Tale is kind of magical. I mean, there's a Pegasus in it, so flying horses. Yeah. But it's more of a movie about reincarnation, not really magic. What are some of your favorite magic or witch movies? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me talk about some of my favorite magical films. Next week, I'll discuss the case that inspired the horror movie Jennifer's Body. And later tonight, I'll be discussing the true case that inspired, or actually made the movie, really, because they wouldn't have a movie without the case. The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which I did not know was based on a true story. Did not know. I mean, sometimes you see movies that say based on a true story and then you find out that it really isn't. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. That movie really makes you think that it's real. It's not. I don't know how many of you were disappointed in that, but I was kind of disappointed. Just because it seemed like it would be real. Because you have the police going in and investigating and acting like it's a real crime case, and it's not. Although I'm kind of glad that it wasn't real, because I feel bad for the victims. Really do. That has some brutal ways to go. All I'm going to say. Anyways. If you don't want to miss any of the upcoming content, click the bell icon to be the first to know about a new video coming out. Also, show your support by clicking that like and subscribe buttons. It's a huge help to myself and the channel. I thank you all who have already done so. You're amazing, and you make the channel worthwhile. I really do. I hope you all have a fabulous weekend, and take care until next time. Bye, everyone.